What's up, guys? Let's dive right into this and let's talk a little bit first about Champion Pub Pinball. I want to talk a bit about why I think Champion Pub, the table itself, is a very interesting table from a lot of perspectives, right? Probably the biggest thing that stands out to me is how late Champion Pub came out, how late it released in Williams' timeline. It released, as you know, in 1998, 1 year before Williams closed its pinball division. And when you think about that, it's like, wow, we're playing one of the last few Williams tables before the company dissolved. And I watched a documentary called Tilt, A Battle to Save Pinball. And around this time, to give you some context, George Gomez and Pat Lawler, who were working for Williams at the time, were trying to reinvent the wheel with a product known as Pinball 2000. So Pinball 2000 was kind of a fusion between video games and pinball. And it never really worked out for Williams, as you know. They released a Revenge from Mars table, Pinball 2000, and after that, they released a Star Wars Episode 1 table for a Pinball 2000 machine. And the idea is very interesting, like the concept. I don't know how many of you know about the Pinball 2000 machines, but they were supposed to be like, they were supposed to be these machines that you could swap out different playfields instead of having to buy a new machine each time. And so that was one of the things that I thought was interesting about it. So like if you bought Revenge from Mars and then they released a new Pinball 2000, game, you wouldn't have to buy like a whole new table. You just swap out the playfield. And there was like a little, they had like a manual to show you how to do that. But this was all like planned for the future if Pinball 2000 did well, which it never did. And there was many reasons why it didn't do well, right? By this time, pinball was already dying down. Video games were becoming popular, console gaming, even handhelds. And so, pinball trying to reinvent the wheel with these Pinball 2000 machines came, really late. But I think they're interesting concepts because if you think about modern pinball today is like you get the best of both worlds, I think. You still have great pinball designs and designers. But you also have video screen displays, and not really, you don't really see dot matrix displays anymore on the newer machines. They're all been changed with video monitors and things like that. But, it's an interesting concept to think about, to give you context, around the time that Champion Pub was released in 1998. So it was basically one of the last few Williams tables that they released. And, according to Pinside, they only produced 1,369 units. And if you know numbers, that's really not like a lot of machines being produced, right? Think about Adam's Family, who sold 20,000 machines back in 92. And so my hypothesis about Champion Pub was that this machine, I haven't seen it anywhere, but I think that this machine also suffered from maintenance issues. Because you think about it, you have a rotating boxer toy that rotates back and forth. You have this mechanical magnetic jump rope, and you have these the speed bag with the fists, right? You also have a stopper, but I don't think that's a big issue. but you have a lot of like these mechanical moving parts, and I can just see it becoming an issue for operators because I can, even in the game itself, sometimes you'll find bugs where the jump rope is moving counterclockwise, or the magnet isn't really latching onto the pinball. So I do believe that this machine might have been a little more expensive to produce and a little harder to maintain, to account for the low production numbers. But I think that this table could have been really like a big hit if it was released a little earlier in the Williams timeline. The designer of the table is his name is Pete Piotrowski, and so that was the only table that he's known for, from his concept and game design. Besides working on No Fear Dangerous Sports, he had a role in that game on the team. But this is a table that came out in 1998, so very late in Williams' timeline. It didn't really have a designer that that you could associate, right? It's not a Pat Lawler table. It's not a Steve Ritchie table. It's not a what's his name, Dennis Nordman table. It's this table from this designer who we really don't know about. But that's not really an issue when you talk about designers. I don't think pinball players were like saying, "Oh, I only play Steve Ritchie tables." That's not really how it went. But you also have an original theme, which I love the theme. Right, you're playing in a 1920s pub, and they really get the theme down. You have like these Irish announcers. You have the sounds of like beer steins, glass breaking. You have some pretty funny jokes too. If you play this table, you hear announcer say, "Bite his ear off," and so I think that might be in reference to the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield incident, which happened in '97. So if I'm correct, this table is making reference to that incident when Mike Tyson bit off part of Evander Holyfield's ear. But the original theme of boxing is really cool, but they made it even more interesting in that it was in a 1920s pub, and you really get that. I really like the design of the table. I mean, it reminds me of, I used to play a lot of a boxing game called Evander Holyfield's Heavyweight Boxing on the Sega, where you would have to train, upgrade your character and try to be a champion. And so that's the same concept on this table. You're training by using the mechanical jump rope, and each time you train, you're earning life bars, right, on your life meter. So you got the jump rope, you're climbing the stairs, and then you're using the speed bag with those two fists, and then you have the heavy bag in the middle. So you have a lot of ways to train to prepare for your next fight. This table is so complex and awesome. This was the first time that I got so much out of this table. I got up to the point of becoming a pub champion, but I never reached the ultimate challenge, which is, I think, the wizard mode, where once you become pub champion, after you have collected all the jewels, that's when you have to fight these fighters again on one life bar. And so, you're thinking about how cool does this table, not only does it do good in making the gameplay feel like you're in a pub in the 1920s, but you're also training, right? You have all these mechanics for training. You also have two video modes that are really neat. The Spittoon Gallery. You have even a poker night, because poker was, I think, gambling, and these pubs were, you'd go to a 1920s pub and you'd see a lot of people playing poker. But you have a poker night, which is based on 5-card draw. And so you can get rewards from that. You can increase the purse. And the skill shot is very interesting on this table too, because it affects how you play. You can go for a door prize. Door prize can light many different things. It can light jackpots. It can give you a second wind, which is like a magna save kind of. It can give you health. It can give you a smart punch. It can light the video modes. You also have like a skill shot for doubling the purse prize, which can be big, depending how big your purse is at the moment. You have smart punch, which are very useful because you can save them, and the smart punches drain the enemy's health bar as you play, because when it's time to start the title fights, you have to hit the boxer in the middle, and sometimes that might be hard to do, so it's just easier to, do a smart punch. And if you've saved up enough, you can basically defeat an entire boxer with smart punches alone, if you wanted to. But you can save those, which I think are cool. On this table, you can also stack multi-balls, right? You can stack the Raid multi-ball, Fisticuff, the multi-brawl. So it's a very fun table for a multi-ball point of view. There's also a little secret. I was going to make a video for it, but when you hit the heavy bag in the middle, you'll sometimes hear a fly buzzing noise. When you hear that noise, if you press the launch button quickly, you'll get 1 smart punch and like 100,000 points. So be sure to do that if you really want to get good at this table, because those smart punches can come in handy. But some of the fighters that you fight are pretty interesting too. There's one named Franz von Pain from Germany. There's Master Bim Bam Boom. That guy always gives me trouble because he's hard to defeat. You have Armand Santiago. I think he's from Spain. And then you have O'Reilly, the first fighter. And I think he's Irish, right? So it's a very cool game, like I said. But it came out late in Williams' timeline. I believe that if it had come out sooner, it might have been more popular. It comes from a designer who hasn't really worked on a lot of tables. And it comes at a time when, original themes were kind of dying out as well. I mean, you still had your Monster Bash table that was a popular original. Well, actually, Monster Bash, take that back. Monster Bash was actually based on the Universal Monsters. So my point still stands. You have themes in pinball that are still original, where a lot of pinball designers were, going into licensed products, right? So even at this time in 1998, 1999, Seiko was still in the pinball industry, and they released a South Park table, which did a lot better than the Pinball 2000s machines that Williams were releasing. So, and as you know, South Park is a licensed theme. So when you think about Champion Pub, just remember that it just came out at a weird time. And I was also reading, I don't know too much about it, but apparently this was a concept and design that Peter Petrowski wanted to release sooner. So, it was probably like the executives at Williams who didn't want to release it, earlier, and decided to release it later. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can say about it, but those are pretty much the main things that I took from this game. I mean, it just, I feel like it could have been a lot more popular and more well received if it was released in, say, like 94, 95. But still a good table. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I got a lot out of it. And let's look at the scores now. So we had an open tournament with unlimited attempts. So we have a lot of people here. 45. Great turnout. And congratulations to our first place winner, Moonface Maddie, with 65 million points. Now, Moonface Maddie wasn't at first for a while. First, I think it was Gapvik earlier in the week, and then it was Bad Doggy, and then Moonface Maddie took the cake here in first. So congratulations to Moonface Maddie. Moonface Maddie hasn't been in first in a long time, maybe the last 2 tournaments. So good to see him in first. Congratulations to Moonface Maddie. He is the sensei to Krobs. So in second place we have Bad Doggy, 51,774,000. In third place we have our regular Gapvik with 41 million. As I said, Gapvik was in first for a long time with 34 million, and I thought that was crazy because until I learned how this table worked, I thought 34 million was like impossible. But congratulations to Gapvik for third place. And in fourth place, we have my friend Geronimo with 38 million. And Geronimo, he didn't think that he could get that score. And I didn't think that he would beat me. But look at that. He got fourth place in a 45 player tournament. And that just goes to show, like, you just never know how well you're going to do or how well you've improved until you see a score like that. So it's a great confidence builder, and it's fun to see that happen, especially because he was telling me that, this table was hard for him, and it is a hard table even on a 1-ball, right? So congratulations to Geronimo for fourth place there. We have my arch nemesis, Balchi99, with 34 million just above me, and so it kind of feels like I let myself down by letting my arch nemesis beat me with 34 million. But congratulations to Balchi99. I gotta keep training. He wrote in the comments, keep training, kid, because that's what they say in the game, right? I came in 6th with 32 million. I think I beat a couple fighters, because once you do that, you get a raid multi-ball, and you get a lot of money, a lot of purse money, defeating some of the boxers. So I came in 6th. Underneath me is Krobs with 31 million. So I'm surrounded by my arch nemesis here. But I was able to beat my second arch nemesis, Krobs. So look how close that is, though. 31 million, 32, 34. So still pretty good for Krobs. I mean, in 7th place. Congratulations to Krobs out there. Beneath him, we have UTD 4000 with 22 million points. I played in UTD's tournament. I think he had a distance challenge, I think, on Tales of the Arabian Nights, which was fun. In 9th place, we have my friend Bad Jack Daniels with 19 million points. Close here as well. Going down the list here, Drahon in 12th with 15 million. Below him at 13th place, PFX Fan with 14 million points, level 55. Below PFX Fan, we have Jabba the Blade with 14 million points in 14th. And look how close these scores. In 15th, we have Tomy5577, a lot of 14 million points. Going down here, we have Urko 1945 with 12 million. 19, Dave 950 with 11 million. Our regular Fabled Scarab 79, level 100 with 11 million. XU Yuko with 8 million. Carpy Sun in 25th with 6 million. Just going Wombat in a Hat in 35th with 3 million. We have Dracky Barks, Michael _363 with 2 million, close to 3 million there. Everyone for showing out to this week's tournament, and you guys voted for Bride of PinBot, and so this will be only 10 attempts, so it'll be a good table. But I think there's gonna be people who are gonna try to get that 1 billion shot, because once you get that 1 billion shot, you pretty much win, right? Unless someone else gets it too, right? So let's create here. I'm enjoying going through the William Tables 1-ball challenge. We have still a few more left before we're done with Williams. So let's go. Where are you, Bride of PinBot? So I didn't get a chance to watch the Pinball Bites episode, but I saw that they're coming out with VR for the meta or something like that. I'm not a VR person, but maybe like Krobs or any of you guys who are into VR know more about that. Seems like good news for VR players though. So it's going to be a closed tournament. We're going to do a one ball challenge. Today is what's today? The 21st, right? So 2, 2, 1, 2, 5. 2, 2, 1, 2, 5. Okay? Okay, we're going to do 10 attempts here. And then it's going to be 6 days. So private one ball, 10 attempts, 6 days. 2, 2, 1, 2, 5 is the password. We're going to create it right now. I'm going to give one attempt here. And here is the ID, 4XL8. Good luck, and the password again is 22125. All right, do I go for the billion shot? I don't know. It seems like a risk, you know, it is a risk. High risk, high reward, right? Okay, oh my gosh. Oh man. Small wheel award. I was telling Krobs that, you know, oh my gosh. Anytime I get close to that 1 billion shot, I always fumble, and I don't get it, right? Even though it took me forever to get there. Okay, that was bad, but should I go another time? Okay, it was because I had the graphics on, that's why. The graphics, the extra animations always take me out of my zen, if you will. Okay. Voice, we have voice.
I can speak.
Man, I was about to play this real machine like a couple months ago. They had it at a place near me, and I couldn't play it because they were charging like $15 to get in, and there was only like this table. I think only this table and one other one, and so I was like $15 to just get in, and then I have to pay to play the table. But I would have loved to play the real table. Oh man, okay, I gotta stop there. I need a little more practice, but I wanted to do that second attempt. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed Champion Pub from last week, and I hope you enjoyed this one too. Take your time with it, or do whatever, but make the best of your 10 attempts if you can. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.